Stay tuned, guys, as I hope to have a new video very soon.
Very soon. Very soon.
What is going on, guys? Now I know it's been a very long time and I am sorry about that, but I am happy to say that I'm back here with you today and I brought a really cool video that I think you guys are going to enjoy. Now we got a lot to cover, so I'm not gonna waste any time, not gonna be a dead weight, hinting at what's to come. So let's go ahead and get that Thanos snap going and I'll see half you guys back after the cinematic. All right, my heroes, welcome back, guys. So you can see I have with me here today the Prime 1 Studio Nero figure from the Devil May Cry franchise. Now, I've been in love with the Devil May Cry franchise over 20 years, starting back with the original release on the PlayStation 2 and having played every single release since then. Now, I'll also say that I've never owned a Prime 1 Studio figure before, so there was a lot of hype and a lot of expectations whenever I saw that they were going to tackle the license. Did they live up to the hype? Let's go ahead and jump into the review and find out.
Dimensions and build!
So I'm gonna start this off being a little bit different here. What I wanted to do was originally show you guys the actual box that the figure came in with all the really cool art. But to be honest, I've had this figure for quite some time. And having recently moved and setting up the new hero cave that I'm in, I had to get some organization done and whatnot. So all that to say, I've actually already put the box up in storage. But what I'm gonna do is actually show you guys some images that you should be seeing now, just detailing out the really cool artwork and things of that nature. The art is really ace, and it does look really cool next to the companion pieces for this line. Moving to the figure itself, this is a pretty big ass figure, I won't even lie. The website says it sits at around 35 pounds, give or take. It has about 25 to 27 inches in height, depending on which swappable figure you use, and about 20 inches in width, give or take. All that to say, guys, this ain't no slim, thick chick right here. This is a big mama, so you wanna make sure you've got this shelf space before even thinking about purchasing it, right? Also, I figured instead of listing out a bunch of random numbers and shit like that, I'm gonna go ahead and post up some actual everyday items for scale. Here's the figure next to a good ass pack of bacon. Here's the figure next to my iPhone. Here's the figure next to my extremely long. So before we jump into everything that makes this figure really awesome, I want to start with one of the negatives that I have, and that's the actual pose of Nero himself. Honestly, guys, it's at first glance, it's super cool. It's extremely dynamic. It does a really good job of really putting emphasis on the hand, which has multiple swap outs, right? The gun or the sword, whichever you decide to display. So it is really cool, again, at first glance. I think the issue I have with it is the more you look at it, the more you realize that it's really weird, right? He's in this frozen kind of mid-jump, knee-high position, and it really stands out when you start to look at him next to the companion pieces, right? So I kind of wish they would have figured out something a little bit different. Again, maybe him standing on the creature or standing on top of the little stone pillar that he's on. It's not awful, right? I know I'm nitpicking and just being an ass, right? But it is something I just wanted to call out because the longer I've had it, the more I realize it's just a little weird. Getting that out of the way, guys, I want to go ahead and actually talk about the base first. And man, there's a lot of detail that went into this, and even at the base, you can see where a lot of the time and effort went into making this figure. Despite what my wife keeps saying, no, you guys are not looking at a hairy ball sack, but instead you're looking at one of the creatures that you actually fight within the game. There's a lot of detail that's captured within the enemy, such as the multiple faces, and you've got this really awesome expanded jaw thing, and the battle damage also adds a really nice touch as well. You've also got the Clyphod, or however the hell you say, the bloody root shit that's coming out of the ground and upwards. That's also from the game. You've got this really nice touch of this cool stone building work that shows it crumbling and kind of just falling apart due to the bloody tentacle things that are coming out. And I also just want to spend a little bit of time talking about this beautiful large wing that's coming out of the creature. Again, the texture work and the sculpt is just really awesome, especially when you put emphasis on the wing itself. Speaking of texture work, the devil is really in the details, and they spare no expense, or soul, I guess, when it comes to talking about just all of the fine little details as it relates to this figure. You can see exactly what I mean by that by looking at all the little zippers and the belts that run across Nero's jacket. You can see all of this really cool fine grid work on one of the hands that are swappable. And even the padding that's on the jacket really makes it look like this jacket is made out of two different materials, even though it's really technically one. So really awesome work to Prime 1 on the craftsmanship. One of the things I was a little worried about was how they were going to actually pull the likeness of Nero from the video game into the real world. Video games are very artistic, they're very stylized, and that does not translate to a 3D world environment. But I gotta give Prime 1 credit because they, knocked his look out of the park. This is Nero. I gotta give special shout out to Prime 1 for even capturing his hairstyle, though a lot of that is contributed to the paint work that went into this figure as well. Speaking of paint, my heroes. I'm struggling to even come up with words, and I've got my script right here next to me that even says that exact line. So I'm gonna let my little homie go ahead and take it for me on what I think of paint. Guys, look at the level of shading that was done right on the Clyphod blood tree thing. It really does look wet and bloody, and you can even see little vein lines into it, which gives it this almost muscular look. It's some sick shit, which is awesome. So talking over weapons, let's start with the Red Queen, which is Nero's sword. This is a sword that makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. You're talking about a big ass sword that has a handle that revs. And whenever Nero revs this up, he's got these exhaust vents or ports that allow it to essentially build up energy to help him do whatever the hell. I don't know. Again, I didn't make it up, but it's some cool ass shit, and I love playing with it in the video game. They did a really good job recreating it, Prime 1 that is, into the statue itself. You have all of the intricacies that are here. So you've got the handle, of course, you've got the shifter, you've got all of the little vents that are included in the sword from the game brought into the statue. And that love of detail moves right into Nero's gun, which is called the Blue Rose. Again, very standard, big ass gun. It's cool. It's very detailed. They're even able to capture the
Down.
They were even able to capture the little blue rose print. Again, just little cool stuff, right, that comes from the video game that's brought into the statue that really helps elevate and give it that one-to-one recreation. You also get two different versions of Overture, which is Nero's Devil Breaker, his swappable arms essentially in the video game. Heroes, these things even have serial numbers and stickers and all this shit. I mean, this stuff that you would never look at, but it's cool when you get up close, you can see, damn, they really went all out.
Exclusive items!
So I was able to get my hands on the deluxe version of this figure, and it comes with a couple of additional items that range from, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool, upwards to, holy shit, that is legit badass. And we're gonna go ahead and go over what those items are. The first one, funny enough, is this actual Devil Breaker arm that I put on. Now, it is cool. It's super detailed. It's another Devil Breaker from the game. I don't remember the name off top. But one of the things that Prime 1 kind of advertised was the fact that you could push a button and the little LED on the palm would light up. I'm just gonna be frank with you guys, that shit's a waste of time. The light itself is and it just chews through these little Chinese batteries I bought on Amazon. It's a pain in the ass to swap out, so I really don't even fiddle with it. The second item is actually kind of a 2-for-1. So as you can see here, I swapped out his Devil Breaker where his arm would be, and for lack of better words, it's a nub. But the reason for that is you can see here there's this additional rocket arm, for lack of better words. It's a really cool Devil Breaker that's in the game. It's actually one of my favorites. I use it all the time. And this is one of the items I was talking about, right? That really helps just take that pose to the next level. So whenever you're playing the game, you essentially fire off your arm and you are left with a nub while this rocket arm is, homing in on enemies. It sounds stupid as hell. Again, you gotta be a fan of these type of games to really appreciate it. And I have to give Prime 1 credit because the level of detail that went into this thing, man, it's really, really cool. The smoke trail, you have this like translucent, almost clear, smoky, where you can still see the fire at the very tip of the rocket. And then as it kind of blooms out, you essentially see where the smoke essentially starts to get a little bit thicker, a little bit cloudier, and not as see-through. So they really thought this through, and it's keyed into the base really, really ingenious. So hats off, man. This thing is just badass, and I think it's really necessary. The last thing that comes with the DX line is this really cool but kind of unnecessary green orb. Again, it's harmless, does nothing wrong, it has nothing to do with the base itself. So for those that didn't get the DX, you're not missing anything when it comes to this right here. For those that got it, again, they know where it's from the game itself. It is cool. And I do have to give Prime 1 credit that even though it's not necessary, it's not a focal point, they still put that effort and time into designing it. There are parts of this thing that kind of look translucent. If you hold it up to a light, it really does feel like you can see through it. It's got this really cool kind of essential swirl effect to it. They were able to capture the likeness with its multiple kind of faces and stuff like that. It probably isn't going to come up on camera very well, though I am trying. You'll see clips here. Again, it's cool. I have nothing, it's harmless. So there's really nothing negative to say about it. It's just I wouldn't go out of my way to try to buy this one item if I didn't get it already. So heroes, I decided to drop the overall value topic, right? Especially when we start talking about statues like Prime 1 and things of that nature. Let's just be upfront. This shit's expensive, right? Very expensive, right? You need to be a diehard fan of the franchise, specifically the game, right? So Devil May Cry 5 in this case. And you got to understand that this is a big statue and it's heavy, it's large. You need to put it somewhere where it can be displayed and never moved again. So I'm not gonna waste your time talking about value. I am going to say though that this is seriously one of the coolest pieces I have ever owned, bar none. It's a lot of money, but you can see up front, right? Like where every single penny goes. Truth be told, you need to look no further than the damn gloss that's in the eyes. Enough said. It's badass. So after having this figure for some time, guys, I was really able to weigh the pros and cons in a mathematical perspective. So using my carefully thought out and patent pending rating system, I'm gonna give the Prime 1 Nero figure an 11 out of 8. Alright my heroes, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, I apologize guys, I know it took a long time for new content to come out, but I am happy to say that the collectibles have a new home, and if things work the way it should and I can stay on schedule and not get lazy, I've got new content that I've been cooking up and it should be coming to you, I would say a lot sooner than the last video to this one. But let me know your guys' thoughts, right? Like I want to engage with you guys. Leave a comment, tell me what you liked and what you didn't like. If you absolutely hated the channel, you can't stand the way I look or my voice, I really don't give a shit. You're an internet person and I married a smoking hot chick and life is good, so go be a somewhere else. But I kid guys, I kid. Thank you to all my heroes out there for staying this long and enjoying this content. I hope to have something out for you guys soon, but until then, take care.
Jackpot.
Ugh.